This is the Skyhunter 1800 that's been sitting on the back of the bench for quite a few months. It's completely built. All I have to do is configure the Ardu plane on it and maiden it, along with a bunch of other ones behind me. I've been getting so much input on this Anaconda reveal today, it isn't even funny. I can't tell you how appreciative I am. I've been getting all sorts of comments on things to do, potential problems with it, and you guys have liked some of my funny stories in the past, so I thought I'd give you another one here. This one has to do with this Anaconda gear. I just got a comment from a viewer telling me that this front nose gear is different than it used to be. Instead of thick piano wire, this is case hardened steel, and case hardened steel is brittle. It really is. It's probably shouldn't be made out of that, but in truth, a year or so ago when I was looking to build a Skyhunter with gear, I couldn't find any Skyhunter gear anywhere on the internet, so I had to come up with my own design. And I did in the videos, someplace in my other videos. And what I ended up doing was I actually ordered the Anaconda replacement gear off a ready-made RC site. There were no Anaconda kits available at that time because they weren't shipping them. That's one of the reasons I always wanted the Anaconda, because I saw it had gear and it was made to go on it. Although I have gotten input that needs to be reinforced in the front. I've got a piece of wood in here, the length from the front of this to the back that this is through, that again is in my video. That's kind of how I kind of engineered this project, because this is totally my own idea. I did not follow anybody's template on the internet. And what ended up happening was, this is actually the Anaconda gear here. And if you look, if I put it right here underneath here and you look at the holes, this gear makes the back end set about an inch higher, like this, when it's on it, and made the airplane kind of point nose down. And I was over at a local hobby shop and saw this gear. This is a Dobro set of gear, and it was shorter by about an inch. There's about an inch difference. You can see the hole right here that the wheel mount would go through. There's about an inch difference in this gear. So I took the Anaconda gear off the back of this Skyhunter and replaced it with the Dobro gear that I found at the hobby shop. But that's still the Anaconda front gear on this thing. And so, like I say, it was about a year ago I bought that and put this together. Oops, kicked the tripod. But that's a possibility with this, that this is going to be brittle and break easily. So I was replying to the viewer who sent in those nice recommendations, along with others. I've gotten all sorts of recommendations on this. Tape the leading edges of the wings and all the surfaces. Reinforce. One of the other viewers told me to reinforce this front gear because it tends to break. Not the metal itself, but the mount it goes in. And then I just got a comment about the metal in the front gear can tend to break because of being hardened steel instead of a little more flexible. And I just related in the email to that person that when I was in Memphis 50 years ago in the Navy, in the flying club on the north side of the island, the first time the instructor ever let me land an airplane by myself, I came in and landed it perfect, three-point landing. All three gears touched down at the same time. And boy, did that chief start chewing my butt up one side and down the other for that you never land a light aircraft nose gear first, or even soon. You always land main gear, and then when you've slowed down as much as you can, let the nose gear down, or you'll break it off a real airplane, which isn't good, especially for an airplane with a front prop. So what I always did after I got chewed out on that is, I would come in like this, do my flare, land main gear, and then as the plane started settling, I'd just pull the elevator back further and further. And you can keep it like this until you suck the yoke completely into your stomach and you can't pull it back anymore. And then after that, the plane will just slowly let itself down and touch down the nose wheel. And if you do that, you're touching that nose wheel down as slow as you possibly can with full up elevator. That's always the way I landed an airplane. After I got trained in soft field takeoffs, I always used a soft field takeoff on a concrete runway. And what that is you pull the nose wheel up rather quick, and then as the plane builds up speed, it would try to pick up higher and higher if you don't start letting the yoke in. But you can start compensating perfectly for that. Oops. And start letting the yoke go towards the control panel enough to keep it like this until there'll be a point where everything will just perfectly match out and you'll just pick up off the ground like that and start flying. So I've always used soft field landing and takeoff techniques when I fly a light airplane. It just works perfectly, especially the soft field takeoff. Just letting the yoke go back, picking the nose wheel up pretty quick and letting the yoke go back in to keep it right as it is. The plane just gracefully takes off. But as far as landing, never let that nose gear down until hold it up as long as possible. And that's the way I've always planned on doing my RC airplanes with landing gear. I haven't flown one with landing gear yet, but that's my plans. I will do a soft field takeoff with this. I'll pick the nose up just enough not to touch the tail booms on the ground. And as it builds up speed and tries to raise up like this more, I will let the stick go in and try to hold it right here till it's ready to fly. And the same thing. When I land one of these, I'll land it like this. And as the nose tries to drop, I'll pull the elevator up until I have full up elevator, and then it touches down based on the speed, forward speed of the aircraft. But I thought I'd throw that in there just as a old salty sailor story, because boy, that chief just chewed my butt up one side and down the other when I landed my first light aircraft, perfect 3-point landing. Son, you know you can break the nose gear off like that? No, sir, that's my first landing ever. It was quite an experience in my life. Okay, guys, thanks again.